CDL Practice Test, California, General Knowledge, Part 10. Question number 230. You should schedule your driving, A. between the hours of 4 a.m. and 6 p.m, B. for the hours you are normally awake, C. between the hours of 10 a.m. and midnight. The correct answer is here, B. for the hours you are normally awake. Explanation. To help prevent drowsiness while driving, schedule your trips for the hours during which you are normally awake, not the middle of the night. Get plenty of sleep, 8-9 hours, before each trip. Question number 231. Which of the following is true about a vehicle with a high center of gravity? A. The vehicle is less dangerous on curves. B. The vehicle is less likely to tip over. C. The cargo should be rearranged so that the heaviest parts of the cargo are under the lightest parts. The correct answer is here, C. The cargo should be rearranged so that the heaviest parts of the cargo are under the lightest parts. Explanation. Cargo that is piled up high raises a vehicle's center of gravity, making the vehicle top heavy and therefore more prone to rollovers. This is especially true if the heaviest parts of the cargo are near the top. You can lower the center of gravity by placing the heaviest parts of the cargo underneath the lightest parts. Question number 232. Which of these statements about speed management is true? A. Empty trucks always stop in shorter distances than fully loaded ones. B. When you double your speed, it will take twice the distance to stop. C. You should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. The correct answer is here, C. You should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. Explanation. In bad weather or in the dark, your visibility may be limited. Open bracket. In thick fog, your visibility may be severely limited. You have no way of knowing what lies beyond the area that you can see. Don't drive faster than the distance ahead that you can see. Otherwise, if there is a hazard just a bit farther on, you may not be able to stop in time to avoid it. Question number 234. Your safety equipment must include A. a spare front axle, B. 3 red reflective triangles to be used as warning devices, C. spare electrical fuses, but only if your vehicle has circuit breakers, D. spare brake drums. The correct answer is here, B. 3 red reflective triangles to be used as warning devices. Explanation. Spare electrical fuses are required only if your vehicle does not have circuit breakers. Brake drums and axles may need to be replaced at times, but they are not a normal part of your safety equipment. Question number 235. The parking brake should be tested while the vehicle is A. moving slowly, B. going downhill, C. moving at highway speed, D. parked. The correct answer is here, D. parked. Explanation. To test the parking brakes, fasten safety belt, set parking brake, release trailer parking brake, place vehicle into a low gear, gently pull forward against parking brake to make sure the parking brake holds. If it doesn't hold vehicle, it is faulty, get it fixed. Question number 236. After your pre-trip inspection, you should inspect your cargo. A. Within 10 miles of the start of the trip. B. Within 25 miles of the start of the trip. C. Within 50 miles of the start of the trip. D. Within an hour after starting the trip. The correct answer is here, C. Within 50 miles of the start of the trip. Explanation. Inspect the cargo and its securing devices again within the first 50 miles of the start of the trip. Make any adjustments needed. Question number 237. When driving a commercial vehicle with a height over 13 feet, you should A. Assume all clearances are high enough. B. Stop and make sure if you aren't certain that a clearance is high enough. C. Not worry about the height clearance as long as you stay on state or federal highways. The correct answer is here, B. Stop and make sure if you aren't certain that a clearance is high enough. Explanation. Don't try to drive your CMV under a bridge or overpass unless you're sure you have enough vertical clearance. Some CMVs are more than 13 feet tall. Many western states allow CMVs to be even taller. Always know the height of the vehicle you're driving, but be aware that once unloaded, the height of your vehicle may increase. Question number 238. Optional safety equipment may include emergency phone numbers, tire chains, and A. A charged fire extinguisher. B. Warning devices. C. Tire changing equipment. The correct answer is here, C. Tire changing equipment. Explanation. Your vehicle must be equipped with a properly charged fire extinguisher and warning devices, flares, fusees, or reflective triangles. Optional emergency equipment can include tire chains in certain climates, tire changing equipment, emergency phone numbers, and an accident reporting packet. Question number 239. Which of these is not required knowledge for drivers needing a hazmat endorsement? A. Basic chemistry. B. When to use placards. C. Which products can be loaded together? The correct answer is here, A. Basic chemistry. Explanation. For a hazmat endorsement, you must learn which materials require placarding your vehicle and which materials cannot be loaded together. Question number 240. What should the wheel bearing seals be checked for? A. Cleanliness. B. The color of paint used on the cover. C. The hub oil level and possible leaks. The correct answer is here, C. The hub oil level and possible leaks. Explanation. It can be unsafe to drive with a damaged wheel bearing. Therefore, inspect each wheel bearing for leaks that can allow grease to seep out or dirty water to seep in. The wheel bearing is located behind the wheel. Check for grease on the wheel and any other evidence of cracks or leaks in the wheel bearing. Question number 241. Why should you only remove your radiator cap when the system is cool? A. The cap will only come off when the system is cool and trying to pry it loose may break the cap and cause injury. B. Coolant can only be added when the system is cooled off. C. Adding coolant while the system is hot may cause the fluid to evaporate and therefore cause the engine to overheat. D. The radiator system is under pressure and you can get burned. The correct answer is here. D. The radiator system is under pressure and you can get burned. Explanation. There is pressure in the radiator. If you remove the cap while it is hot, you can cause the pressure to erupt suddenly, spraying yourself and risking severe burns. Question number 242. You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You can drive a vehicle hauling hazardous materials when A. The vehicle does not require placards. B. Someone who has the hazardous materials endorsement rides with you. C. The cargo will be transported less than 100 miles. The correct answer is here. A. The vehicle does not require placards. Explanation. You must have a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL to drive a vehicle that is placarded for hazardous materials. However, not all packages of hazardous materials require placarding your vehicle. Federal Regulation 49 CFR 172.500 exempts certain amounts and types of hazardous materials from placarding, but states may impose more stringent requirements. Question number 243. How do you test the hydraulic brakes for leaks? A. Drive 20 miles per hour and slam on the brakes. B. Pump the brake pedal 3 times. Then apply firm pressure to the pedal and hold it for 5 seconds. The pedal should not move. C. Drive slowly and pump the brake pedal. Make sure it doesn't hit the floor. The correct answer is here. B. Pump the brake pedal 3 times. Then apply firm pressure to the pedal and hold it for 5 seconds. The pedal should not move. Explanation. To test a vehicle equipped with hydraulic brakes for leaks in the brakes, first pump the brake pedal 3 times. Next, apply firm pressure to the brake pedal for 5 seconds. If it moves, the brakes may have a leak or some other problem. Question number 244. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 50 miles per hour. Driving conditions are ideal. Dry pavement, good visibility. What is the least amount of space that you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? A. 3 seconds. B. 5 seconds. C. 4 seconds. The correct answer is here. B. 5 seconds. Explanation. The formula for following distance is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle, plus an extra second if you are traveling over 40 miles per hour. Therefore, for a 40-foot vehicle traveling at 50 miles per hour, you should leave a following distance of 5 seconds. Question number 245. When must you wear a seatbelt? A. Whenever you're driving a CMV. B. Whenever you are hauling hazardous materials. C. Only in states where the law requires it. The correct answer is here. A. Whenever you're driving a CMV. Explanation. Federal regulations require the driver and all passengers in a moving CMV to wear seatbelts, unless, of course, the vehicle isn't equipped with M49 CFR 392.16. Question number 246. When should you wear seatbelts? A. Only in states where it is required by law. B. Only when traveling on a highway. C. Anytime you are in a moving vehicle. The correct answer is here. C. Anytime you are in a moving vehicle. Explanation. Use your seatbelt. The driver's seat should have a seatbelt. Always use it for safety. Question number 247. The road you are driving on becomes very slippery because of glare ice. Which of these is a good thing to do in such a situation? A. Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. B. Downshift to stop. C. Apply the brakes often to keep the linings dry. The correct answer is here. A. Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. Explanation. When traveling on ice, your vehicle's braking distance can increase tremendously. On ice, slow down to a crawl and stop driving as soon as you can do so safely. Question number 248. Why should you be in the proper gear before starting down a hill? A. The clutch is made to be used on even surfaces. B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. C. You need to be in the same gear at the bottom of the hill. The correct answer is here. B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. Explanation. When you're about to start down a steep downgrade, release the gas pedal, shift into a low gear, and use engine braking to slow your vehicle. Don't try to downshift after your speed has already built up. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear then. You may not even be able to get back into any gear and all engine braking effect will be lost. If you try to downshift an automatic transmission after your speed has already built up, you may damage the transmission. Question number 249. Which of these statements about using mirrors is true? A. There are blind spots that your mirrors cannot show you. B. You should check your mirrors twice for a lane change. C. You should look at a mirror for several seconds at a time. The correct answer is here. A. There are blind spots that your mirrors cannot show you. Explanation. Mirrors can show a great deal around your vehicle, but there are still blind spots that you can't see. Keep an eye on all the vehicles around you that you can see. In case one of them starts to move into one of your blind spots, also use a helper when backing. Question number 250. The aggregate working load limit of your cargo T-downs must be at least times the weight of the cargo. A. 1/2. B. 4. C. 2.5. D. 2. The correct answer is here. A. 1/2. Explanation. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations Part 393.106, issued by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, requires the aggregate working load limit of any securement system used to secure an article or group of articles against movement to be at least 1/2 times the weight of the article or group of articles. Question number 251. Of the following options, which is the most important to check for stickiness or looseness? A. Doors. B. Seat belts. C. Locks on doors. D. Windshield wipers. The correct answer here, D. Windshield wipers. Explanation. It is important to check the steering wheel, brakes, clutch, gas pedal, horn, wipers, and lights for any stickiness or looseness to ensure proper safety when driving. Question number 252. When you back with a trailer, you should A. Back in as straight a line as possible. B. Not pull forward once you have started backing. C. Turn the steering wheel in the same direction in which you want to go. D. Not bother to correct drift. The correct answer here, A. Back in as straight a line as possible. Explanation. Try to keep everything straight while backing. This involves correcting drift as soon as it occurs and backing as straight as you can. You must also turn the wheel opposite to the direction in which you want to go. Then turn the wheel the other way once the trailer starts to turn. Pull forward as often as needed to make corrections and reposition.